Hello, my name's Gene and I'm Gadget Bear. iPhone 14 Pro just recently released, and now we've got the same question we have every year. What iPhone should you get in 2023 and why? Let's find out. But there's one question before that. I don't have an iPhone. Do I need one at all? The thing is, iOS is a closed operating system, which means it's got less customization and settings potential than Android devices. But it's also more fluid, it's got exclusive apps. Overall, most of the apps work better for iOS, and no wonder, in the Apple world, you have to optimize an app for a dozen CPUs and devices, unlike hundreds and hundreds devices on Android. Of course, there are things that will work not like you expect if you're coming from the Android device. For example, settings for all apps in the settings menu, or absence of split routing for VPN services. These things have been criticized for years, and Apple still hasn't done anything about them. Also, there are plenty of rumors that iPhone 15 will get USB-C, so there might be a very concrete reason to wait a year more and finally acquire a device that you could carry without carrying an extra cable. Also, Lightning cables might see a production decrease in time. Take that into account as well. So, the best way to advise an iPhone is to know which phone you have now. So let's start. My phone is not an iPhone. In this case, let's look at multiple options. If you want a relatively inexpensive device, iPhone XR or better, the iPhone 11 is a way to go. These will work fine for a few years ahead, and day-to-day usage won't be completely different from flagships. Of course, if you don't take into account massively improved screens and cameras in the latest iPhones. XR and 11 have pretty dated cameras. That doesn't mean they're bad, you'll just need more light, and don't expect photos or videos taken in the dark to be amazing. And the screens on these are the IPS ones. Black is not truly black on these types of metrics, but there's one more problem: short time after image issue. It's hard to explain, but look at this video. You can see 11 is leaving an icon on the screen for a few more frames when it already should have been gone. Of course, keep in mind that 5-year-old iPhones are not as advanced in terms of the specs as even some modern budget Android devices. OLED screens, 120 Hz, faster charging, etc. While cost will still be considerably higher. It's a choice you need to make, whether you need the best specs on the market or more stable iOS, Apple ecosystem and great videos. And if you really don't want this type of the screen, you can go for the iPhone XS or newer. One important thing: older iPhones are not selling at the stores, so you have to buy a used one, and it's dangerous. Best way to go here is a new iPhone 13 or 14. There's also an elephant in the room: iPhone SE. It's really inexpensive, has a really powerful CPU and a fairly decent camera. But in all aspects, apart from this, it's a really outdated phone. Small screen, huge bezels, home button from 5 years ago. I wouldn't advise buying an iPhone SE for yourself, but it might just be the perfect decision for your parents or relatives who don't like bigger screens and don't care about how advanced their phone is. Maybe you want something really cute? In that case, iPhone 13 mini is the way to go. It's the best compact smartphone there is, advanced enough and with better battery life than the 12 mini. And if you have a lot of money to spend, it's basically a choice somewhere between 12 Pro and 14 Pro Max. Why 12 Pro and not 11? Because of MagSafe. Finally, we have all sorts of accessories for that magnetic charging system, and it's really useful and comfortable now. Put your phone on charge with one gesture at night without looking for a cable and a port. Snap it at the dock in the office and you can read notifications and interact with them without taking the phone in the hand. Snap it in your car and your smartphone is charging instantly with fairly good charging speed. It's really convenient, and there will be more MagSafe accessories in the future. So if your phone doesn't support that, it's a bummer. And if you need a decent camera and don't want to spend that much money, consider 12 Pro Max, and if it's too big, go for 13 Pro. It's got a great size and it's the perfect bang for your buck right now. But again, be ready that it will still cost as much or even more than some flagship Android phones. Now, let's go to those of you who already has an iPhone. My phone is an iPhone 7 or an older one. You, my dudes, need to upgrade right now. Your smartphone is on its last breath. It's not updating to the new versions of iOS because it's too old. Some of your apps might be useless without updates, and some really needed functions might not work already. Your iPhone served you up to 6 years at this point, and you should really let it die with grace. If you really love the home button, just buy the iPhone SE of the second or third iteration. And if the home button is not essential for you, iPhone 11 will be a decent update. An iPhone 12 or 13 will be just a perfect one. In the case of 12 or 13, you'll have a MagSafe. Of course, you'll also have a Face ID, new navigation with gestures, and a much more modern design. And don't forget the bigger OLED screen with really good brightness and contrast. Battery will obviously hold up better, and overall, you'll definitely feel that you bought a new phone. If you really like that small size, great, iPhone 13 mini is just for you. Really cute size, amazing performance levels, battery is holding up well, especially compared to the iPhone 7 or older. Really consider 13 mini, just might be perfect for you. If you're willing to upgrade once for a longer time, it might make more sense to spend more money. In that case, the choice between 12 Pro Max, 13 Pro or Pro Max, or 14 Pro and Pro Max is a go-to. You will definitely feel an upgrade. Bigger, brighter OLED screen, new design and feel of the phone. 13 Pro or newer will have a ProMotion display, it updates twice as fast, and the phone will feel as smooth as it can be. Don't forget great cameras, ProRAW for the lovers of smallest details, and ProRes for those who like uncompressed videos. My phone is an iPhone 8, 10, 10s or 10R. Guys, your iPhones are getting older each day. They will do for a year or two, but you might consider updating to the iPhone 15. USB-C is actually a good reason to wait. But in case you really want a new phone right now, then the iPhone 10R or 8 owners will really benefit from upgrading to iPhone 12 or newer. New design, really improved cameras, MagSafe and OLED screen. It's far better than the IPS. 12 Pro Max or 13 Pro is a great way to go if you're willing to spend more money. You'll have a third telephoto camera and a bigger sensor, not to mention ProRAW. This will allow you to process your photos on a whole another level. iPhone 10, 10s or 10s Max owners, I'm afraid, won't benefit from usual models. 13 or 14 Pro or Pro Max will be essential. It's the same screen technology, but it's brighter and flickers a lot less. Your eyes will thank you for that. Perks don't end here, by the way. Third lens, ultra-wide, new design, but most importantly, your screen will support ProMotion and everything will feel much smoother. 3 lenses is good, it's actually a lot of choice, and if I would switch from, say, 10s to 12, I'd really miss the telephoto and wouldn't say it's a real upgrade. I might be used to telephoto and don't need an ultra-wide that much. My phone is an iPhone 11. I'd say it's probably the most used iPhone right now, but it's far from perfect. IPS screen with fairly low resolution and brightness, massive bezels, pretty dated cameras, especially an ultra-wide one. No MagSafe, no perfect blacks of the OLED screens, which is already a standard even in budget Androids. Shortly, you will really benefit from a new phone. Of course, the best choice would be to upgrade to the iPhone 15 in a year, but if you can't wait, any model newer than yours will feel loads better, except of iPhone SE, of course. The 12 will have a great OLED screen, HDR, video, MagSafe and improved charging speeds. The Pro model additionally has a telephoto lens, which in the case of buying a Pro Max version will benefit greatly from the enhanced sensor size. The 13 will have all of the previous benefits, but has even better cameras, improved battery life, and in the case of the Pro or Pro Max versions, 3x zoom, which is more than 2 or 2.5x of previous models. Ultra-wide is noticeably better too, and the steel body is always more pleasant than the aluminum. But the best thing here is the ProMotion. After this, all the iPhones that don't support that technology will feel much slower. And if you don't need Pro models, consider 14 Plus. It's probably the best smartphone for you in terms of the battery and the screen size. Still, you have to remember that the iPhone 13 Pro Max exists and may even be cheaper. In many ways, it's much better than the 14 Plus. My phone is one of the following ones: 11 Pro, 11 Pro Max, 12, 12 Mini, 12 Pro or Pro Max, 13 Mini or usual 30. In this case, it's hard to advise something except waiting a year or two. You just won't feel that much of a difference, maybe some with 14 Pro or Pro Max, but still it's going to be marginal. Yeah, in case of the latest Pro models, you'll have a third lens and ProMotion, but you need to ask yourself, are those features alone really worth your additional money? You already have an OLED screen, you already have great cameras, and owners of everything on this list except 11 Pro or Pro Max are having a MagSafe in their phone too. But if you're really desperate to buy a new phone, I'd say consider 13 Pro or Pro Max. It's the best bang for a buck right now. As a person who has an iPhone 14 Pro, which has the dynamic island and always-on display, I wouldn't say those features are worth the upgrade. Island, at least now, is not an interactive element most of the time, and always-on display is not as important either. Maybe in a few years apps will rely heavily on those things and add dynamic widgets more, but now most of my everyday apps don't support these. 48 megapixels, on the other hand, are really great, but is it worth upgrading for these three things alone? I don't think so. My phone is an iPhone 13 Pro or Pro Max. In this case, I'd say it's worth upgrading only for those people who save money by upgrading every year. They are selling their previous device for a good amount of money and buy a new one while spending not as much as they would if not for every year upgrade. Also, if you're a hardcore iPhone photographer, yeah, it's worth it. Bigger sensor, 48 megapixels, second generation of computational photography algorithms, 2x optical focus distance, enhanced selfie camera with autofocus, all of those are great. I don't know how I lived without photos that I can crop like 4 times in post. Yeah, Dynamic Island is a really cool looking feature. Maybe in time it will even get functional enough. But for now, the absolute majority of 13 Pro and Pro Max owners doesn't have a concrete reason for an update, aside from saving money, as I said before. That's it. Leave a like and subscribe if this video was useful, and I'll go and make more of them from Slav with love. Stay tuned. Bye.